Hello everybody, I'm Nick Shipley. I'm here at the Hartell Homestead, and because of all this fun that's going on in the world, I'm doing my class as an online video for you. This is my Chicken 101 class, so this is going to be your basics on raising chickens. We're not going to get too in-depth on it. If you have any questions, feel free to comment, and I will get back to you and we'll all work on it together. Chickens have been kind of a really big thing this year, especially with the pandemic going on down in the States and all through Canada. Stores have been selling out of all their chicks, like these little guys that are behind me. And that's because people are worried that they're going to run out of eggs, run out of chicken meat. But really, the biggest issue is that a lot of people are buying these chicks and don't realize you don't get eggs till usually by the fall if you're buying them right now. So I go through quite a few different things. First is why you should raise chickens. And there's a lot of things to raise chickens, especially if you've got just a backyard and you're doing them at your home in town on an acreage, anything like that. The eggs are the biggest temptation. Everybody thinks about the eggs because they're just fresher, they're nicer, they're better than those store-bought eggs. But you gotta consider all the other things that you get too. You get manure. You get meat if you're going to end up killing your birds in the fall or middle of summer. And you're also going to get eggshells and scratchability. And that's what I'm in right here. This is my giant chicken tractor. And this tractor is going to actually go through my pastures. And my chickens are going to scratch away and hopefully rejuvenate my pastures to a great standard. So things to check before you get chickens. First and foremost, you want to check your local regulations, because some towns do not allow chickens. Some are allowing 2 to 3 birds, and that is a very good number to start with. You got to make sure that you have a hen house or a coop that is going to be sufficient for your chickens. They need areas to have food, water, roosting areas, nesting boxes, and basically just large enough in general. You also need to feed and water those chickens daily. Now, this means if you have chickens, you either don't get to go on vacation or you have to have somebody come over and take care of your chickens. No different than having a dog or a cat. These guys need to be cared for every day. You can't just leave for a week and forget about them. And of course the fun. These guys poop all year round, so you are gonna always be scooping manure unless you have a chicken tractor or something to move like this, but even then you're gonna have poop. So now we'll go up kind of the startup of getting chickens. How many chickens should I get? This is one thing that a lot of people get a little too excited for. I'm to blame as well. I bought 50 chickens behind me. I probably didn't need that many, but they're so darn cute. It's hard to say no. Now, how many chickens should you get? Well, if you're gonna get a couple chickens, you wanna plan on getting 3 to 6 birds usually. And that's because chickens are very social creatures. They are, they need friends, they need people to be around, and that's, if you only have 1 or 2, they are going to get lonely and they're going to get bored and start picking on each other. Also, with 3 to 6 birds, you're going to have a steady amount of eggs for your family once they start laying. And also, it's not going to break the budget and have over excessive amounts of eggs and feed going into these guys. Because when you have this many chickens, when I got 50 chicks, these guys are going through a bag of chick starter right now about every week. And that does add up. So how much space are you going to need for these chickens? Ultimately, it depends on what breed you're going to go with for your chickens. For a medium-sized chicken, like these Rhode Island Reds behind me, you're looking 3 square feet of floor space inside and 8 to 10 square feet a chicken outside. Now, if you see my coop here, it is a little smaller outside and inside, but that's because I'm going to be doing constant rotation on it, so they will constantly get moved. These are rules more so if your coop is stationary and it's not moving, and they're going to tear up that dirt and they're going to get really bored if it's any smaller than that. The more space you have though, the happier, the healthier your chickens are going to be. Overcrowding contributes a lot to the disease and pecking on each other. And chickens are notorious for pecking on each other, and you'll end up actually hurting some of your chickens, getting bald chickens, and just overall your chickens don't look too pretty. How much does it cost to keep chickens? Now this is a big one. All of this costs money. The materials, the furnishing of the coop, the 20 by 5 foot run for your 3 to 6 birds, that's all going to cost. You're looking at least $300. You can do it a little cheaper, but you are going to have quite a bit of cost. My setup here, it cost me a lot more than I was originally budgeting for. It probably was close to $1,000 all said and done, but this is going to last me forever. I built it sturdy, I built it strong. Overall, when you start with chickens, expect between $500 to $700, and this includes buying chicks, setting up your coop, buying feed, buying waterers, buying all the things you need to raise these guys. Is going to cost you quite a bit of startup before you even can think about getting any revenue back from getting eggs or meat or whatever you're doing to raise your chickens for. Now this next thing that we're going to talk about is my favorite thing, and that's having chickens for gardening. Now this is kind of a different subject. A lot of people just think, oh, I have chickens, they lay me eggs, and that's about it. One of the reasons why I built this chicken tractor is so that my chickens can roll through my pastures, and their scratching and manure will bring back my grass. Now this may not be my garden, but it is going to revitalize that pasture. And whether it's grass or a garden, it does the same thing. Now one way of raising chickens is you can have a two-sided garden. So one side is fenced and it's your garden one year, and then the other side is your chickens. And then the next year you switch. And that allows those chickens to tear up all your garden, all your roots, eat all those bugs and pests and everything that's in there. And then they can go into a new side and scratch it up and work it, and then your garden is fresh with manure that's been sitting for over a year, and it really revitalizes that soil and brings it into a good growing stable. They produce an endless amount of manure. Now this is one thing that a lot of people get that manure and they don't know what to do with it. They think, oh, I can put it on my garden. But what you have to remember is chicken manure is very, very high in nitrates, and if you put it straight onto your garden from the coop, it's actually going to burn your garden. So what you want to do is you want to take it, you want to put it into a pile and compost it for up to 6 months, if not a year. Constantly turn that, heat it up, bring it in, and then you can add it to your garden, and it adds excellent, excellent compost to that. But if you do it too soon, you are going to burn your plants. So be very, very careful with it. During your daily cleanup of your poop and all your bedding materials, that is going to be a big thing. Now, that's that. So, next we're going to look at chicken breeds that are going to suit you. Now, what type of breeds are you going to get? There's hundreds and hundreds of different breeds of chickens. We can go from leghorns, we can go from silkies, showgirls, silver lace. These guys behind me are Rhode Island Reds. They are a multi-purpose breed. That means that they are good for laying eggs. They actually are quite excellent at it. But they grow a big enough body size that I can have a couple that I'm going to butcher this year and end up putting in my freezer. When you are looking at this, you want to figure out, are you raising them for meat, are you raising them for eggs, or are you raising them for both, or maybe just fun? Fun would be like a silky. Those are those ones with the big furry feet on them. They're adorable. They don't really taste very good. And if you have ever plucked a silky, they're actually black. They have black skin. It's really not very appetizing when you put it on a plate. So look at the different breeds of chickens and research it before you get into them. Because if you don't research it, you're going to end up with some chickens that either don't lay well, maybe aren't built for your climate. You want something, especially here in Canada, that can handle the cold nights and this very fluctuating temperature as we have here in lovely Alberta. Now, designing and planning your chicken coop. This is quite important. You want to make sure that you design it well, sketch it out, put your design on the ground, maybe take some spray paint, put it out, get a visual mark before you do it. We'll go over this a little more in another class. I don't want to bore everybody and make this video go ridiculously long by me going over my design plan. I did have this all planned to have a class. We'll probably have it after quarantine's all done. All in all, chickens are a lot of fun. They really are great to have. They're adorable. They give you eggs, they give you meat, they take care of your garden, they take care of your pastures, and they give you excellent manure and compostability for your fields. So overall, if you're looking at getting chickens, awesome, do it. But take into consideration all the things we've talked about here today, because it's not something you want to jump into at a whim just because you think chickens are fun. They are a lot of work, they are a farm animal, and you are going to be full-time chicken tending. So, for everybody out there, have a great day. This is Nick Shipley from the Hartell Homestead, and after quarantine's over, we'll continue classes and keep having fun. If it continues, I'll just keep doing some online, and you guys can watch some more videos. Thank you muchly.